Franchise Sports TV back again with another video and back again with another history lesson for y'all. Kinda. Before I begin, subscribe to Franchise Sports TV on Rumble under the name FSTV22. Alright, let's get to it. So, I think it could have been, I think at the top of my head right now, the 2002 2001, 2002, maybe not that year, maybe the 2002, 2003 year, there was a speculation. There was something that most fans regarded, I'm trying to say this the best possible way. I'm trying to sound professional here. Gotta sound professional a little bit when you talk about history. Leave the goofy stuff for current NBA stuff. But, there was a time when Jason Kidd was regarded as an MVP candidate, right? And I think it was the year 2001, 2002. And that year, in that season, I should say, Tim Duncan actually won the MVP. I think he won back-to-back MVPs in 2002 and 2003. But there was a time, like I said, Jason Kidd would maybe considered to be an MVP candidate. And here's why. So, around that time, Jason Kidd is actually on the Nets. He just recently, the year before, I think he was on the Phoenix Suns. They traded for him, not the Suns, but the Nets. New Jersey Nets traded for him in exchange for who was it? Stephon Marbury. Yes, I can remember Stephon Marbury. Like, he was just always moving everywhere. Because I think before that he was on Stephon Marbury was on Minnesota, of course. And I don't think that worked out too much. But yes, on June 20th, 2001, after 5 seasons in Phoenix, and all 5 seasons when Jason Kidd was in Phoenix, they made it to the playoffs. But they traded him all of a sudden, along with Chris Dudley, to the New Jersey Nets for Marbury, Johnny Newman, and Samalia Samaki. I think that's how you say his name. But he would join a team of a sophomore, Kenyon Martin, which was my long distant cousin. These are facts. Never met the guy. Veterans Kerry Kittles and Keith Van Horn, along with Richard Jefferson, Jason Collins, and Brandon Armstrong, coming from the draft day trade for the 7th pick in Eddie Griffin. Rest in peace to him. Instantly, the Nets and Jason Kidd were led to a finish of 52-30, a 26-game improvement from the season before. And it's also the first 50-win season in franchise history. He was voted first All-NBA team. Finished, like I said, second to Spurs Tim Duncan in voting. Now, here's where people had a problem with. Because many of the critics and fans have argued that Kidd deserved to win the award because of his impact in New Jersey, transforming them from basically being a boo-boo trash team into a championship contender within only one off season. See, Jason Kidd was a leader. He was a leader because not only did he did it once, led the Nets to the finals, led them twice, but that first year they got swept by the Lakers in 4, and then they lost in 6. The next year to Tim Duncan. You could possibly say he lost to Tim Duncan twice, but if we look at his stats for that year only, just the 2001-2002 season. Let me bring them up right quick on the screen. So if you look at his first year in New Jersey, he played all 82 games, averaged 37.3 minutes, 7.3 rebounds, 9.9 assists, 2.1 steals, 0.2 blocks, and 14 points. We all know Jason Kidd wasn't the most dynamic just scorer out there. He was a passer. And man, he could pass. and get to the basket as well. So that's his case right there. He was big time, and I think he was big time most of that playoffs too. He played on in 20 games. He averaged 40 minutes, 8.2 rebounds, 9.1 in assists. Actually, the year before he had a career playoff average of 13.3. Damn. 1.7 in steals, 0.4 in blocks, and averaging 19.6 points per game in that whole playoff. And we know playoffs don't count towards getting in the ring. Now, if you look at Tim Duncan's stats right quick, just for comparison, Tim Duncan in that year, because I think the only really year Jason Kidd really couldn't have been considered the MVP is the 2001-2002 season. Not so much the next season because the Nets dropped to 49 and 33, but was still able to get to the playoffs. But Jason Kidd also averaged a career high in points at 19.9, I think it was. Thinking off the top of my head right now. So you look at Tim Duncan in the 2001-2002 season. Tim Duncan came off I think the Spurs came off 2 terrible outings in the playoffs. They lost, I think they got swept by the Lakers one year. And I think the season before they lost to Jason Kidd and the Suns 3-1. But in his first, not the year after that, the 2001-2002 season, he averaged career highs and scoring at 25 points per game, including league-leading 764 field goals, 560 attempted free throws as well, and rebounding 12.7 per game and accumulated 1,000 boards. Again, also leading the league and averaging 3.7 assists, 2.5 blocks. Both career highs. Also getting an All-NBA and All-Defensive NBA first team. And then, like I said, he got the MVP, joining his own team. I think David Robinson on that team. That was his last hoorah. Joining David Robinson as one of the only 2 Spurs in history to earn that honor. And Tim Duncan did have to do a little bit more because David Robinson was not himself. And I think David Robinson sometimes didn't start as well. I think Malik Rose came off the bench to help out. But I don't want to go too much into the playoffs for the Spurs. But like I said, Tim Duncan had career highs that year. But in the 2001-2002 season, they would find themselves not going anywhere again. Sad to say. But that wasn't David Robinson's last year. I think the next year was that. But in the 2002 playoffs, the Spurs were outmatched again by the Lakers. Shaquille O'Neal was just too much, and the Spurs were defeated in 4-1. So, you really can't count Jason Kidd going to the finals towards that because I think the MVP was given out. What was the MVP? I forgot what the MVPs were given. I think the MVPs were actually given out during the playoffs. I think they was. So, here's the thing, though. I think this is what held Jason Kidd back. The reason why he didn't get that MVP and Tim Duncan got 2 in a row. Not to say Tim Duncan did not deserve to win the MVP. Like I said, he had a career high that year and points and everything else. But Jason Kidd was, like I said, was able to lead that team, the Nets, to 52 games after the team was garbage. But this is the reason why I think, and I think we probably know about this, Jason Kidd, I think it could have been the 2000-2001 season where he was mixed up in a DV case with his ex-wife. And I forgot her name. I forgot how to pronounce her name. Because I remember this as a kid, reading this in the newspaper in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Yeah, I used to read the newspaper as a kid back then. But, yes, it was January 2001. He was arrested and pleaded guilty to DV charge for assaulting his own wife. As part of his plea, Kidd was ordered to attend anger management classes for 6 months. So, I think that right there, which is I say is the most ridiculous thing to hold somebody to something off the court. But I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't get the MVP. The NBA saw that, they saw the DV case, and was like, nope, you ain't getting this MVP. Which is, like I said, it is very stupid. Very dumb. You should base the MVP off what they done on the court or field. But we know it's all about the image as well. I do see that. It's about image. Tim Duncan was squeaky clean. Never heard anything bad out of Tim Duncan. He was too quiet. Who knows? So I get why they did it. It's all about the image with the NBA. And I think this is during the time right before the brawl when the NBA was kind of struggling with the image because all these basketball players are dressing up, coming in wearing the big old jersey, big pants, looking like rappers with the big old chains. And so, sure enough, 4 or 5 years later, they would change the NBA dress code. So I don't know. I need to change the NBA dress code again because some of these players are wearing whatever. And so that's pretty much, I think, the reason why he didn't win it. Because there's no other reason why he should not have won it other than that case alone. Something to do with off the court. But it is what it is. Like I said, Tim Duncan would get 2 MVPs back to back. And I think the next year the Spurs found themselves back in the finals again against Jason Kidd and beating Jason Kidd and the Nets in 6 games. So, yeah. Kind of sucks for Jason Kidd. He never got that MVP. But look at the bright side for him. Look at the bright side for Jason Kidd and any of his fans. He did eventually become an NBA champion. And he's also, he won 2 championships. One as a coach, one as a player. So anyways, that's all I got to say about it. Just a little history for y'all.